A weapon will prosper, a levee will break. The heartbreaker gives you more than you can take. The trouble with trusting a Savior not seen, you find out he don't fail when he don't intervene. These words from Andy Squires point out the uncomfortable truth about the Christian life. Sometimes God's greatest works are only found at the end of hardship. My dad did not live the life he expected. Pain and health problems over many decades made everything from work to everyday family life a struggle. At any point, God could have intervened. Even the weekend before he passed, I heard the story of an old man whose body had been riddled with cancer. He and his family were preparing for his departure. Upon going for a scan, though, the doctors found the cancer inexplicably gone. He'd received no treatment, and no one was even really praying for his healing. God just said, "Nope, not quite yet." With a story like this in mind, did God fail my dad? Was his life one long testament to God's indifference or impotence or both? Or was this life of hardship something far more glorious than a simple miracle? Was this life he lived a drink offering poured out upon the sacrificial altar of the faith of those who knew him? He did not receive the healing in this life that Christ so frequently gave out during his earthly ministry. No, more profoundly, he was given the honor, dubious though that honor may look to natural eyes, of living a life that reflected Christ's own. No majesty or beauty that we should look at him. A man acquainted with sorrow, stricken and afflicted. Yes, parts of his life were a mess, but that's par for the course in the biblical example of godly men. Look at Abraham, Jacob, David. But more important than any failure was that every time he got back up and continued on the road that God had marked out for him. And he endured this hard road faithfully to the end. Even in the days leading up to his passing, during our last visit, as he was hollowed out by sickness and death, I saw him grit his teeth and give his family what love he had left. Even when he was almost gone and his awareness was slipping in and out, he somehow snapped back to give my kids one last smile and hug and "I love you." His life in a small degree echoed those spoken of in Hebrews 11, who suffered mocking and flogging and even chains and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn in two, they were killed with a sword. They went about in skins of sheep and goats, destitute, afflicted, mistreated, of whom the world was not worthy. Wandering about in deserts and mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. And all these, though commended through their faith, did not receive what was promised. Now, at long last, though, my dad has entered into that promise. So no, in one sense, God did not intervene in my dad's life, and he found himself living a life of long hardship. But this is not the whole story, and I think the mystery of life in this world is captured nicely in another song lyric by John Mark McMillan. I've got no answers for heartbreaks and cancers, but a Savior who suffers them with me. Christ never failed him, but instead, when my dad was faced with a life of affliction and painful death, Jesus said, "I know that life. I'm with you. Why don't we go do it together?" And so, instead of simply escaping pain and trial, he overcame it for 40 years. A life lived this way, as much as any life of blessing or miraculous deliverance, is a show of God's power that cannot be overstated. And this memory of how my dad lived his life will be part of the foundation of my own faith for the rest of my life.